on the heels of what was a violent and deadly weekend in Orlando, state and local leaders vowing to work together to find a way to stop gun violence before it happens. So Florida Congressman Maxwell Frost introducing a bill that would establish an Office of Gun Violence Prevention. The office would conduct research, it would collect data, and then advance policies. Gun violence survivors say now is the time to put laws into place that will prevent more lives from being taken. Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer has also voiced his support for the bill.
Preventing acts of gun violence should be a priority for Congress, and this legislation puts it at the forefront. There's no reason this should not be a bipartisan effort. Republicans and Democrats should be for this piece of legislation.
And joining us this morning is Congressman Maxwell Frost. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks for being on.
Of course. Good morning. Thanks for having me on, Ryan.
So we've spoken a number of times. You've been outspoken for years about gun violence. This is your first bill since recently joining Congress. So talk about the motivation to start the National Gun Violence Office.
Well, this has been an ask of the gun violence prevention movement for several years now. And so I was honored to kind of take an ask that's been part of the movement for a while and put it into legislation. We've been pushing both the former administration and President Biden to create this office. But then we thought, you know what, with an executive action, anyone can go in and overturn it. With legislation, we put it and codify it into federal law. And what I simply believe is this is not about gun policy. This is about an office that would work at advancing recommendations, public education campaigns to help end gun violence, and aggregate data and research. All these three things are important, and we're hoping we can get bipartisan support on this piece of legislation.
And regardless of anyone's position on guns, you kind of touched on it, there's anger about mass shootings, but many point to different causes: guns, AR-15s, mental health, reoffenders. So how do we take a step forward with such hardened stances on those issues?
I think offices like these are helpful. This is a daily problem, and it's going to require a daily solution. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying, oh, this office will solve all the problems. No, this is a first step. But you're right. I think we need to use every solution we have. Typically you have Democrats who will say it's just gun control and nothing else. Then you have a lot of people on the right, Republicans, who say it's just mental health, and they don't want to talk about the guns. As someone who's been in this fight for a decade, I want to tell everybody it's everything. We have to handle everything. It is mental health. It is the guns. It is ensuring that we up the standard of living in this country so people don't feel the need to use a gun to solve their problems in the first place. It is criminal justice reform. It is poverty. It's all these things. And what this office would work to do is provide that clear picture and give us policy recommendations, not just at the federal level, but also at the municipal, countywide, and state level, so we can end gun violence holistically. It is all these things at the same time. We can't afford to pigeonhole ourselves into one argument when we have an issue that's taking 100 lives a day and is the leading cause of death for children in this year in this country. I just think that's unacceptable.
Yeah, the numbers are staggering. They mentioned the federal part of this. This would collect data, would advance policies. There are some critics, Congressman, that worried it might take away some Second Amendment rights. How would you respond to that?
This office would not be enacting the policy, it would be recommending the policy, both through DOJ over to the United States Congress and to the ATF and the other agencies that work on handling gun violence. And so I would tell people to rest assured, this is not a partisan organization. This is a nonpartisan department that will work with facts and figures. And what I'll say is this, if you are worried about what recommendations will come out of the office, everyone should know that when we look at this whole issue holistically, there's going to be different things that need to happen. Regulating guns, ensuring guns don't get in the wrong hands, that's an important part of it. But we're not talking going door to door and taking guns from law-abiding citizens. We're just talking about the future and saving lives. Mental health care is a part of it, ensuring that we resource our communities. The largest mass shooting that's almost never talked about is the collection of daily shootings that happen in Black and brown communities across this country. Also suicide. So there's just so much work that needs to be done here. And I want people to know this isn't about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about the people versus the problem. And this is a problem that we need to solve.
Congressman, very quickly, how optimistic you are that this will get through both Congress and Senate?
Well, it is a bicameral piece of legislation, so I introduced it with Senator Chris Murphy, so it lives in both the Senate and the House. I feel confident. I think this should get bipartisan support. We've been having some productive conversations, and we'll see how it goes. But you know how it is. Sometimes legislation takes a couple times to get through, but I'm hoping that this one, due to the public outcry on gun violence, will be able to pass this session.
It can be complex. Congressman, always great to have you on. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.